everyone, and welcome once again to I've Been Playing. Today we're going to talk about Jurassic World Evolution 2. This game, it will probably come as no surprise to anyone, is the sequel to Jurassic World Evolution, and is inspired by and based off of the films. And in this game, and the first game, you are tasked with building your own Jurassic Parks, or improving on ones that are already built. And by improving, I mean making sure the dinosaurs stop getting out. This one in particular has a few different, well, it has one story mode, it has one challenge mode, and it has one thing called Chaos Theory, which is where you go back to the locations in the various films and try to, like I said, make sure that the dinosaurs don't get out. So there are three kind of different paths you can take and ways you can approach this game, as well as having a sandbox mode. Although from the looks of things, you have to play through the other parts to unlock the areas from those scenario paths in order to use them as a sandbox. So the one that's the story campaign is the one I have finished already. It's pretty simple, I'm not gonna lie. There's nothing in there that's too complicated, and you're following off of the end of, I assume, Fallen Kingdom. I did watch it, I do not remember it, but I think there are a lot of references to that one and stuff, and it's come out after that movie. There are some kind of stills of the movie throughout, so I'm pretty sure it's after the events of that one, where dinosaurs are just roaming free, and apparently there's no infrastructure anymore. But I didn't find any of those too hard, none of them took too long. I think it is kind of meant as, the entire thing is kind of meant as a tutorial for the game, so it is a good place to start. You don't want to start with challenge mode. I haven't tried challenge mode yet. I opened the first one, but I didn't get very far in it. But clearly you're not meant to start there first, and Chaos Theory, which I have been trying to play, is probably not the place to start either, because it's definitely more difficult. I say that because I am on the very first scenario there, which is Jurassic Park itself, and it is taking a long time because you have to get a park rating of 5 by the end of it. I'm assuming this is the end because I don't know where you could expand from there, but you have to make sure it has a 5-star rating, and man is it hard. And I keep having the problem of storms, and they keep destroying all my stuff, and it makes me lose all my money, and I can't get more dinosaurs if I don't have any money. So obviously, since this is the second one, there are some things that have changed a little bit from the first game. The first one being these 3 different types of routes you can take, or campaigns, I guess, that you can do. From what I remember from the first one, there was just the one, and it progressed pretty well, it made sense. I had a lot of fun with the first one, and it was a lot more, you had this path to go down, you had this story thing to play, you had these different parks on different islands to open up, and each one got progressively harder, and they weren't too difficult, but they were a challenge. And this one is a little different. And I don't know that I like it too much. I thought that the story mode, the main story mode, was too easy. I'm finding Chaos Theory, appropriately enough, a little bit more difficult to take care of. And the challenge mode, like I said, I haven't tried enough to know yet, but I feel like there's a bit of a disparity in difficulty there. Not that most of the Jurassic Park scenario that I've played has been that difficult, but this getting 5 stars is, and like I said, that's mainly a money issue just because it's expensive to clone and make and build and house dinosaurs. Who would have known? But in general, I mean, the gameplay's decent. This is made by Frontier, I believe, who are behind Planet Coaster and Planet Zoo, which are kind of the modern update of Roller Coaster Tycoon and Zoo Tycoon. So they know what they're doing, it controls really well, it's fun to play, even if it gets, difficult and complicated sometimes. It's not undoable, it doesn't feel undoable while you're doing it, which is always nice. They've also changed how it works a little bit, but not too much. The way they've changed the power, or at least how you can initially get power, and this is my own fault for not researching it with my scientists earlier, but you have backup generators, and boy are they expensive to keep stocked with energy, and it's not a good idea, I have learned, to have them around very long if you can research better power stations, because the way the power worked in the first one was you had a power station, and like a normal power station, you extended wires, you built substations, it provided power for a certain area. And the way you start out in this one is you have backup generators which have to be resupplied with power. This is my main issue with this game right now, I think, is that the power is, normally you have things, they cost a certain amount of power, and that's it. They don't drain it constantly, they just require a certain amount of power, and then you build as many power units in whatever game you're playing to provide power for that, and it does it once and it subtracts from the total that the power station can provide, and you're done and you don't have to worry about it. But the way this one works, at least with the backup generators that you start out with, is like, I think it's every action takes some away, so you're constantly draining energy, and especially once you get visitor attractions, they're constantly draining energy, so you have to spend so much money on power upkeep that it's difficult to make money sometimes. And then you have the problem with the storms where people abandon the park because it's storming and you lose a bunch of money, and I keep going into debt, which is a big problem because especially at the point where I am now, I need like $2 million to make a dinosaur, and it's difficult to do when I'm bankrupt. They've also kind of changed, from what I remember of the first game, changed how the dinosaurs themselves work. You get a little bit more information about the dinosaurs, or at least it's a little bit different, so you know, have to set up their environment very specifically for them. It tells you which dinosaurs like to be housed together and which ones don't, even though I tried to house a Velociraptor and a Compsognathus together and all of them got eaten. Not the raptors, obviously. So that didn't turn out too well. It was like, yeah, they like being together. I'm pretty sure the little ones don't like it, because they're all dead now. But I feel like it's a lot easier to kind of keep them at a level of contentment than it was in the first one, at least sooner. It took a little while in the first one to figure it out. Maybe that's because I've played the first one and I kind of know how it works, but I'm finding it easier to do generally. It's kind of everything else that is complicated. They also made it so you have to have status checks on the animals at a regular intervals, because the information about their comfort and their thoughts, I guess, disappears after a certain amount of time, so you can build ranger posts, and you can automatically make your rangers go around and do that, which is nice. You don't have to think about that as long as you set up a ranger post and assign a ranger vehicle to that ranger post. They will go and take care of it and let you know if your animals are okay or if they need medical assistance from the other facility and things like that. You also now have scientists. I'm pretty sure you had scientists before. How else did you get the dinosaurs? But you have to manage them a little bit more, so like they can get overworked, so you have to make sure to have them rest, and you have to kind of space it out so that they're not all resting at the same time in case you need something. And they also have different skills and different skill levels, so you have to keep the numbers in mind and you can level them up and make them better at certain things so that you have enough points in certain things to get the work done that you need done. So those are the major changes. In general, I am enjoying myself. I don't know that I'm enjoying it as much as the first one, because the first one felt kind of like its own thing, like it was very clearly Jurassic Park, but the way they did the story and the progression through the islands was a lot more interesting to me than like the story campaign that was super easy, and then just redoing the old parks but better so that the dinosaurs don't get out and kill people. It's not as interesting to me because it doesn't feel as connected as the first game did. It was kind of fun to have all the different islands and then, you know, have an archipelago of dinosaurs. The story aspect, such as it is in this one, is not interesting to me, but it's still fun to play, so I guess that's more important, really. I just wish I felt more like the owner of the parks instead of someone coming in and like a consultant making things better. And those are my thoughts so far. I still have quite a bit of the game to play, and hopefully the storms will stop, sapping all of my money away because everyone leaves the park because they don't want to get hurricaned. But let me know what you think of this game and its first version in the comments down below if you've played them. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did enjoy this, leave a like, consider subscribing. I do one of these every Monday, and a whole bunch of other stuff you can check out. I'll see you next time.